The Lighthouse Keeper's Promise. In the charming coastal village of Windermere, secrets of the past whispered through the rustling seagrass and echoed in the gentle laps of waves against the jagged cliffs. Here stood a beacon of hope and guidance, the Windermere Lighthouse, manned by the venerable Thomas Keeper. For over 4 decades, Thomas had kept the light burning bright, a solemn vow he made to his wife, Mary, on her deathbed. She had believed that the lighthouse was more than a structure, it was a sentinel of safety and resilience. This story unfolds on a night that bore the fury of the Atlantic, a tempest that promised to change lives and test the will of those who dared to challenge the capricious sea. The storm. As the darkness swallowed the sky, Thomas stood firmly in his weather-beaten perch inside the Windermere Lighthouse. He watched as the storm brewed a terrifying symphony of thunder and lightning outside, feeling a mix of awe and anxiety. Built in the late 19th century, this lighthouse had become his life's work and sanctuary. The walls, thick and sturdy, had withstood countless nor'easters, each leaving behind their own unique scars and stories. Now, in October 1987, the ferocity of the storm mirrored the great storm that had ravaged England nearly a century earlier, which had toppled 15 million trees and claimed 18 lives. Thomas's heart raced with the adrenaline of the impending gale. He knew the importance of the beacon he tended to, a first-order Fresnel lens installed in the early 1900s that had revolutionized maritime safety with its ability to cast light far over the treacherous waters. This beacon was a lifeline, not just a light, and as he adjusted the lens with practiced precision, he felt the weight of responsibility pressing upon him. Outside, the wind howled with a primal scream, and the sea thrashed against the cliffs. But inside, the steady light of the lighthouse pierced through the chaos, a symbol of human persistence amidst nature's wrath. The promise, Thomas's promise to Mary, was etched deep in his heart, a vow not merely to maintain a mechanical light, but to uphold a legacy of hope and guidance. Mary had cherished the lighthouse with every fiber of her being. To her, it was more than a structure. It was a steadfast guardian against the capricious moods of the sea. Now gone, her spirit seemed to linger in the warm glow of the light, in every creak of the aged wood, in the salt-sprayed windows. As he shared the lighthouse's history with Eliza, a newcomer driven by her own search for purpose, Thomas recounted tales not just of storms and shipwrecks, but of human courage and the will to survive. One such story was that of the SS Ethie in 1919, a ship caught off the rugged coast in a vicious snowstorm. The lighthouse had been the beacon that saw all 92 passengers to safety, guiding their makeshift rafts through the relentless waves to shore. These survivors had clung to hope as fiercely as they had clung to the rafts, their eyes fixed on the guiding light of the Windermere Lighthouse. Each story that Thomas shared with Eliza stitched a richer tapestry of the lighthouse's lore, intertwining tales of bravery, tragedy, and survival. Eliza, captivated by these narratives, grew to see the lighthouse not merely as a building of brick and glass, but as a living symbol of resilience. Her respect for this beacon deepened, understanding now that it was more than a light. It was a legacy of constancy and hope, a sentinel against the dark, guarding all who dared navigate the uncertainties of both sea and life. The bond. Eliza, once anchored securely in the bustling life of the city, now found herself adrift, her previous existence dismantled by unforeseen events. In Thomas's stories, however, she discovered anchors of a different sort, tales of resilience and courage that spanned the ages. Among these, the story of the Pendleton rescue off Cape Cod in 1952 stood out vividly. It was a harrowing tale where a small Coast Guard crew, against all odds, heroically saved 32 seamen from a tanker that had split in two during a ferocious winter storm. This event wasn't just a rescue, but a testament to human bravery and the power of hope and teamwork in the face of dire circumstances. In the flickering light of the lighthouse, with each pulse of the powerful beam, Eliza felt as if she were feeling the heartbeat of the lighthouse itself, a steadfast rhythm amid the chaos of life and sea. Thomas, seeing her interest and potential, began to teach her the intricacies of the lighthouse's operation. He explained the workings of the Fresnel lens, a marvel of engineering named after its French inventor, Augustin Jean Fresnel. This lens, with its ability to capture and magnify light through a series of prisms and lenses, was a cornerstone of maritime safety, guiding countless sailors away from the perilous rocks to safe harbor. Under Thomas's tutelage, Eliza learned about the meticulous maintenance required to keep the lamp fueled and functional tasks that were meditative in their repetition and crucial in their purpose. She polished the brass fittings, cleaned the glass panes of the lantern room, and trimmed the wick, each chore grounding her more firmly to her new role. Through these lessons, Eliza began to view the lighthouse not just as a structure of bricks and mortar, but as a living entity, charged with the heavy responsibility of keeping the seafarers safe, a keeper of promises, a whisperer of hope to those lost at sea and in life. The challenge. Eliza's dedication to her new role was soon tested on a stormy night when the lighthouse would once again prove its mettle. As the wind howled with the cries of the marooned, echoing the loneliness and peril of the sea, Thomas was suddenly taken ill. His aged body, worn down by years of battling the relentless damp and cold that were constant companions of a lighthouse keeper, could no longer withstand the strain. The responsibility of the lighthouse, a beacon of safety and hope against the fury of the North Atlantic, now rested squarely on Eliza's shoulders. With Thomas incapacitated, Eliza recalled every lesson he had taught her, every story he had shared. She remembered his descriptions of the Fresnel lens's installation back in the 1820s and how it had revolutionized maritime safety. This lens, a feat of optical engineering, could cast a beam of light for miles, cutting through the densest fog and darkest nights to guide vessels safely. It was not just a piece of technology, but a lifeline for those at sea. Fueled by a newfound resolve and armed with the knowledge passed down by Thomas, Eliza climbed the spiral staircase to the lantern room as the storm raged around her. Each step up the narrow stairway felt like a defiance of the gale that threatened to swallow the coast. That night, as she reached the top and took up her position by the light, Eliza was not just maintaining the beacon, she was embodying the steadfastness that the lighthouse represented. With every gust of wind and crash of the waves, she adjusted the light, ensuring that it never faltered. Her actions a testament to the enduring spirit of those who keep the lights burning. The night of the gale. As Eliza reached the lantern room, the storm unleashed its full might. The gale reminded her of the infamous 1938 New England hurricane, which had unexpectedly barreled up the coast, leaving a wake of destruction. With each gust against the glass, she was reminded of the power of nature and the vulnerability of human endeavors. But inside the lighthouse, the light must continue regardless of the tempest outside. Throughout that tumultuous night, Eliza adjusted the wicks, refueled the oil, and kept the lens clear, ensuring that the light never faltered. Her efforts were not in vain. At dawn, a local fishing boat made its way safely into harbor, its captain later telling her that the lighthouse had been their only guide through the pitch-black, stormy sea. The legacy continues. When Thomas had fully recovered, he witnessed a transformation in Eliza that transcended her role as merely a caretaker of the Windermere Lighthouse. Through the trials and the tempests, her resolve had been forged into a passionate commitment to the legacy of the beacon. Thomas saw in her not just an apprentice, but a true successor, one who embodied the relentless spirit of all those who had tended the light before her. Historically, lighthouse keepers had been the unsung heroes of the seas, maintaining the light through wars, tumultuous storms, and the relentless march of time, adapting from oil lamps to electric lights and beyond. Recognizing the physical demands of the job and acknowledging his advancing age, Thomas decided it was time to pass the torch. He was confident in Eliza's capabilities and her youthful vigor, which brought a new perspective to the ancient duty. His retirement was not just the end of an era, but the dawn of a new chapter. Under Eliza's watch, he was certain that the lighthouse would continue to be a beacon of safety and hope. A new beacon. As the new keeper, Eliza embraced her role with a zeal that revitalized the Windermere Lighthouse. She understood that her responsibilities were not only to maintain the operational aspects of the lighthouse, but also to preserve its storied history. Eliza initiated projects to modernize the aging systems, integrating advanced technology while ensuring that the historical integrity of the lighthouse was preserved. Her efforts turned the lighthouse into not just a navigational aid, but a vibrant cultural hub. Eliza introduced educational programs, inviting school groups to learn about the science of maritime navigation and the rich history of seafaring. Tourists and locals alike were drawn to the lighthouse, captivated by its tales and the panoramic views it offered from its tower. One of her significant upgrades was the installation of a solar-powered light system. This not only reduced the lighthouse's environmental footprint, but also maintained the reliability of its beacon, ensuring that the light remained a steadfast guide for sailors. Her stewardship was a testament to the harmonious blend of tradition and progress, echoing the historical evolution of lighthouse technology from the early days of burning wood and whale oil to the adoption of electrification and now sustainable solar power. Eliza's tenure marked a new era for the Windermere Lighthouse, transforming it into a beacon that not only guided ships safely home, but also lighted the way forward in environmental stewardship and historical education. Epilogue: The light never fades. Years later, Eliza still stood watch at the helm of the Windermere Lighthouse, her figure a constant silhouette against the skyline, as the beacon pulsed its rhythmic light into the encroaching dusk. Over time, the world outside had ebbed and flowed with the tides of change. Technologies evolved, communities expanded, and the challenges of navigation grew more complex. Yet, amidst this relentless change, the lighthouse remained a steadfast symbol of continuity. To the ships that braved the vast, often unforgiving sea, the lighthouse's beam was a reassuring signal of proximity to land and a guide back to the safety of harbor. It whispered tales of safe passage and welcomed weary travelers with its unwavering glow. To the town of Windermere, nestled in the protective embrace of the coastline, the lighthouse stood as a testament to resilience and hope. It had witnessed generations grow up under its watch, seen businesses flourish and wane, and watched as the community rallied through good times and bad. The legacy of the lighthouse, meticulously maintained through the centuries by dedicated keepers like Thomas and now Eliza, continued to illuminate the dark edges of the sea. Under Eliza's care, the lighthouse had not only embraced the advancements of modern technology, but had also become a sanctuary for those seeking to connect with the maritime history and the natural beauty of the coast. Moral of the story. The story of the Windermere Lighthouse is a testament to the human spirit's resilience. It reminds us that the light of hope much like the beacon of a lighthouse, shines brightest in the darkest of times. Through dedication and perseverance, we can overcome challenges and ensure that the legacy of care and commitment we build will the way forward for generations to come. Thanks for joining us at the Windermere Lighthouse. If you enjoyed this video beacon of history and perseverance, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories.